Joining us live from Dubai, we have Mr. Mohammed Baharoon, who is the Director General of the Dubai Public Policy Research Center. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right, Mr. Baharoon, the United States has clearly said that the U.S. has Israel's back, and extending his Israel trip, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is also visiting Arab nations in the bid to keep the conflict from spreading. How optimistic are you, Mr. Baharoon, of a negotiation taking place, as Iran has also urged Islamic Arab nations to unite against Israel?
I think the events that we're seeing unfolding are very, very upsetting, and the amount of violence we have seen is heart-wrenching. But it's also dangerous because it is positioning us in a very divided situation,
right,
where people have to take sides on one side or another. This is becoming as dividing as the war in Ukraine. And I don't think we need more division in the world on who's right and who's wrong. I think the amount of diplomatic efforts being done right now is to create as much as of a unified position on how to address the situation. The U.S. presence is part of its commitment to peace and security in the region, and I hope that it will stay at that, helping not to spread the war beyond what it is, as horrible as it is right now, but beyond the current borders is also a priority. But we will also have to be very careful of how that violence can raise.
Absolutely, Mr. Baharoon. The countries have taken positions in the ongoing Israel-Hamas war, and UAE President also held a phone call with Egypt President. How do you assess Dubai's role in the mediation talks?
Well, the UAE has one priority at this point, is to stop the violence, because it realizes that this spiraling violence could lead to places that no one wants to be in this region. We have gone a long way of bringing back what used to be, an existential conflict between two religions, back to become a sort of a political conflict that can be resolved over a table. Now it is threatened to go back, and it's not going back to be an Arab, Israeli conflict. It's now going back to become an Islamic Jewish conflict, which is something we don't want to see happening.
Well, Mr. Baharoon, you also have your expertise on public policy and international relations, and it is day 7 of the war in Israel. How do you assess the Israel-Hamas war changing the complexion of West Asia, and in what ways?
At this point, the division that is happening is what is going to be, this polarization is going to be the most, consequential impact. When countries, let's say like India, who has always been a sort of an unaligned country, is now will have to take a position on whether it's with Israel or with the Palestinians. This is the type of thing that would stop the projects like the India, Middle East, and Europe Economic Corridor. These are projects that were supposed to foster in more cooperation between countries. Now we're going to have to look again into what does that mean to all of these connectivity projects that we've been, imagining. But I think the calamity of human loss is the thing that would mark us in history. And unfortunately, that type of extreme violence stays with people. It will stays with them. It will affect their future decisions. There are, a new generation of Palestinians and Israelis are going to grow up based on those climactic situations, thinking of each other as enemies, thinking of ways of getting back to each other. This will perpetuate this type of conflict, and this is exactly what we're trying to stop.